Is that empowering or what? Somebody say amen.
Amen.
So everything that we ever think hovers out there in the creative media. It's all out there, just waiting for us to focus on it so it can appear. It's all there. Claude Bristol calls it the spiritual counterpart. Ernest Holmes calls it the mental equivalent. Everything that we see, there's a mental equivalent, and the mental equivalent came first. So there's a mental equivalent to everything. Credit is a mental equivalent to money, right? People give me stuff because I show them a little card and they have a thought that I have money. Right? I can phone up the airlines and make a reservation and they'll hold the seat for me because they have the thought that I'm going to come and sit in that seat. I go stand at the bus stop at 7:53 in the morning because I have a thought this bus is going to be on schedule. I go to work because I have a thought that on the 15th and the 30th of the month, I'm going to get a paycheck. Right? All those thoughts. But those are conscious thoughts. Those are the thoughts that we know we're thinking most of the time. Right? But there's a lot of other thoughts down there underneath that we don't even know that we're thinking. They're down there buried in our beliefs. And our beliefs is all that stuff that maybe we don't even know we had, but our thoughts are coming out of them. So if we think it's a tough world and people are out to get me and I have to fight to get mine, that will give rise to a certain kind of thought, won't it? But if I have the belief that it's a beautiful world and everybody loves me and everybody wants to be my friend, I'm going to have a different kind of thought. So those beliefs are what underlies our thoughts. They actually control our thoughts. You know, one of the beliefs we have in our civilization is that if you work hard, you'll make it, right? Anybody here that's been working real hard and hasn't made what they thought they should have made yet? And I know people who worked hard all their lives and died impoverished. And I know you know people who are doing thank you very well, and they really don't do very much at all. Yes? So I've come to the conclusion that hard work ain't where it's at. Truly on hard work. Where it's at is intention, is purpose, is thinking, is belief. And our beliefs have to be, for me sometimes when we're setting goals, people sometimes say you have to be specific with your goals, say exactly what you want. I tend to not agree because I kind of joke that the only thing I want is to stop wanting stuff. But there's two schools of thought on that. If you think the only way you will ever be happy is with a 10-bedroom, 6-bathroom mansion, then set that goal. But if you just want to learn to be happy in whatever your circumstances are, personally, I think that's a higher goal. But we need to be consistent with our goals. So if you're saying one day, I want to live in a 10-room mansion and that's the only thing that will make me happy, and the next day you're saying, I want to spend the rest of my life traveling, that's going to get a little muddy, right? So what's the universe going to give you? Mud. That was supposed to be. But if you really want something, you need to be consistent with your belief. And so how do we get our beliefs more consistent? Being in classes, going to the soul-to-soul discussion group where you share and support each other. Those are the kinds of things where real deep discussion really happens, where you really get to understand things on a deeper level, where you get to look at the beliefs that you didn't even know you had, and bringing them up to consciousness so you can say, that's a good one, I'll keep that one. Or no, that's not serving me, I'll let it go. It doesn't even get into a lot of heavy psychoanalysis. It's just things that we do when we talk to each other that expose what we believe. So we can unite in intention with other people when we go to a healing circle or a peace meditation or classes. We can do meditation, of course, which is going within and trusting our higher connection with whatever it is, our intuition. My grandmother had a lot of interesting beliefs that she fed to me, and I bought them for a while. And they were interesting. She used to say things like, always wear woolies next to the skin, and protect the baby from the night air, so there was something evil in the night air. Stay out of drafts and don't get cold wet feet. Well, I sleep with my window open summer and winter, so I'm sleeping in a draft. I've never worn rubber boots in my life. My feet are usually wet. I almost never get colds. So what's that all about? Is it that wet feet give you colds? Or is it that a belief that wet feet can give you colds enables the wet feet to give you a cold? You know how you can go round and round with all that stuff that you were taught? Many years ago, before computers, I worked in accounting. And we had what was called a synoptic journal. I don't even know. It's a big book about this size. And then it opened up, right? And it had about 30 columns in here, and you'd enter everything, and there was a debit or credit to the bank. And then in all these columns, everything got distributed. And in my company, it was about 10 pages a month. And at the end of the month, you had to add up all those columns manually, and then add them all across the bottom, and it had to come out to 0. Well, the last day of the month was terror for me, because I would spend hours being frustrated, and I'd always be 9 cents out. Well, anybody who knows, 9 cents means you keyed something in backwards. So you keyed in 54 instead of 45. So you go, and I'd be going home in frustration, and I'd put it aside, and I'd come back the next day, and I'd open the book, and I'd add up the numbers, and it would balance perfectly first time. Why was that? It was because I let go of it. I turned it over. I trusted. It's the same like when you lose the car keys, right? And you look for them, and you look for them, and you look for them, and finally you say, oh, you take the spare keys down off the hook, and you go about your business, and the next day the car keys show up. It's because we try and figure everything out by logic instead of just turning it over to our higher self, the subconscious mind, the infinite mind, where everything we ever knew is in there. You know, we just release it to that. We just let it go. And where does memory thought go? When we thought, it just goes into that memory bank. It's always available to us. And that's a common mind. So anything I ever thought's available to you. And anything you ever thought's available to me. And it's fabulous. You're wonderful. So the power of belief can be used to create exactly what we want. And like other powers, for instance, water is a huge gift to us, is it not? 98% of our water body is something like water. But water misused, as in a hurricane or a flood, can do damage. Fire is the gift that allows us to cook our meals and keep us warm. But we all know the destruction that can result from the misuse of fire. Thought is the same. It's an incredible gift that allows us to create what we want, and it can be misused. And a misuse of thought is fear, distrust of other people, assumption that somebody's out to get you. You know, in Course in Miracles says there's only two, fear and love. If it's not love, it's fear, and that's a misuse of our power. So belief can cause miracles. And it's not supernatural, it's just something I can't explain yet. But you know what? It doesn't need me to explain it to be true. How's that for an ego awakening? It doesn't need me to understand it and be able to explain it to nevertheless be true. Our power is a creative thought that creates our experience. And miracles happen. Miracles happen when we trust that infinite knowledge. Miracles are not accidental. We actually create them. They happen for a reason. And the reason is that what? We said so. We said so. That's what it is. So, the reason is that conscious thought controls the subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind controls our circumstances. That's the way it works. So when we sustain conscious thought that is conducive to miracles, then miracles happen all around us. Miracles happen all around us. God creates miracles. I create miracles. And you create miracles when you believe you can create miracles. I believe you can. Do you believe you can? Amen.